Hello, it's time to read. The more you read, the more you'll know. The more you know, the more you'll grow. Today, our story is Raphael's Gift by Barbara Donovan, and it's illustrated by Bradley Clark. Raphael's Gift. At the time of this story, a new president was in charge of the Dominican Republic. This president changed the laws. People could no longer speak freely against the government. Newspapers such as El Carib could only print what the government wanted them to print. German Ornez believed strongly in free press. He fought against the rules that restricted what he and others could print. Streaks of pink, lavender, and orange shimmers on waters reflecting a dazzling sunset. In Rafael Garcia's mind, he knew just how he would paint the sunset if he had the paper on which to paint it. Lack of paper tormented Raphael. He'd used up every scrap his family could spare for his drawings. As a result, Raphael painted pictures in his mind, hoping for the day when he'd have enough paper to paint all his memories. As the colors darkened the sky, Raphael realized how late it had become. He grabbed his net bag, which was bursting with conch he had harvested from the sea floor, and raced along the meandering path to his home. Mommy was cutting tomatoes and onions for the conch stew when Raphael arrived home. Your father is out at the bench waiting for you, Mommy called as Raphael appeared at the screen door. Go help him clean the conch. There's a surprise for you out there, too, she said with a warm smile. Raphael headed out back to where he could see his father and another man sitting in the shade. As Raphael surveyed the scene, he began to grin. Teal German, he called excitedly to his father's best friend. Raphael loved this family friend whom he called his uncle. He was proud of the way he led the fight for free speech in their country. That Teal German was visiting his father was a rare delight for the entire family. Raphael emptied the conch into the bench and began working with his father to separate the sweet, juicy conch meat from its hard shell. Teal German questioned Raphael about school and about his baseball team. Then he inquired, Do you know I still have that painting you made for me? It's hanging on the wall of my office. It helps me remember the beauty of innocence of my island home. Raphael blushed with pride. He had painted a scene of a boy on a bench with his arms spread wide open as if to hug the world. He had given it to Teal German for his birthday last year. He did not know that his father's friend had actually hung it in his office. What have you painted recently, Raphael? Teal German asked. Raphael gazed down at his lap and replied, Nothing lately, T.L. German. Do you not like to paint anymore? Asked Teal German with a concern in his voice. Oh, yes, Teal German, Raphael hurriedly reassured him. But I do not have any paper. Teal German leaned back in his chair and smiled. Then you might just want to take a look in the back seat of my car when you bring this conch back up to your mother. There's a present for you in the brown box. Raphael beamed as he thanked Teal German for the gift that he had yet to see. Then he scooped all of the conch meat into a bowl and excused himself. Mummy barely had time to thank him for such quick work before Raphael was out the door, headed for Teal German's car. One time, Teal German had brought Raphael an end roll of paper from his workplace at El Carib. As the newspaper was printed, the workers would change the rolls of the paper before they reached the end of the roll. Teal German had thought that Raphael might want to use the paper that his pressmen would throw out. Was it possible that Teal German had brought Raphael another roll of this paper? When Raphael reached the black car sitting in the shade of the gree tree, he peeked into the back window where he saw a large carton. Raphael leaned into the back seat. His hand hovered over the carton. What if this were not paper after all? Eventually, Raphael maneuvered the carton from the car. When he slit open the top, he stumbled back because inside were not one, but 5 end rolls of paper. Raphael never had so much paper in his life. The many images he'd saved in his mind jostled for attention. He didn't know which one to draw first. With a grunt, Raphael heaved the carton up into his arms and ran into his room. He cut off one piece of paper and laid it tenderly on the table. Looking out the window, he could see his father and Teal German still talking outside. Raphael remembered stories his father had told him of the fun he and his friend had had in their youth. Making light strokes with his pencil, Raphael's fingers fairly danced across the paper. Subtle lines joined as forms took shape on the page. Soon, 2 figures emerged among the swirling lines. From a box under his bed, Raphael chose the colors he'd use to bring his sketch to life. By the time Mommy's conch stew was ready, Raphael's gift for Teal German was ready too. After stuffing themselves on stew, Mommy, Poppy, and Teal German brought their coffee out onto the porch where they listened to a merengue music on the radio. Raphael went to his room to get his drawing. Returning to the porch, he handed the completed drawing to his uncle. In it, 2 boys resembling Poppy and Teal German frolicked in the surf as if they had not a care in the world. In one corner he had written, to Teal German, with thanks for all you have done and will do for all of us, Rafael Garcia. Teal German wiped a tear that leaked from his eye. Then he nodded his thanks to the boy who could touch his heart and help him remember The best times during the worst times. The more you read, the more you know. The more you know, the more you grow. Bye bye.